Hey guys, Overdetermined here with a new build inspired by the Smithscript weapons in the DLC. These are weapons that you can throw and will reappear back in your hand. Fully new to Elden Ring, and as far as I'm new to the Souls series in general. I also threw the Anvil Great Hammer, I believe it's called, on this build because it made just thematic sense, and I really just end up using it. It's just too good. It's just too fun to whack people with that hammer. I'm also using the Smithscript shield, which has really insane tracking on it, meaning it's going to hit people much better than like an arrow or a lot of the spells that Elden Ring has. I'm at rune level 100, so if I encounter someone in the DLC, they're going to know what they're doing if they're in the DLC. Typically, they're going to know what they're doing if they're in the DLC at this level range. This person certainly knows what he's doing with that Red Katana. I'm trying to time his rolls. Fortunately, I'm saved. My salvation, a maelstrom from the heavens. Someone's flinging pots around. I'm trying to figure out where they are. The host doesn't seem to know either. And here comes my pot friend, who's absolutely showing me up in this invasion. Great build, just a man flinging pots around. This anvil, I just kind of let him go at it. The host absolutely panicking too. This hammer is a pretty good roll catch. You'd be surprised at how well it catches people who are panic rolling like the host is right now. I'm not sure what the host's plan is. I assume going back to trying to resummon his friend again. Gets saved by a hunter, but it does not matter. Death by furnace spot. I brought out the Smithscript Circs, I believe they're called, to try and get more precise damage so I don't hit my co-invader by accident. Of course, it extremely does not end up mattering. The Circs are one of the best Smithscript weapons, I think. When you throw them, they also have pretty good tracking, so you can heavy attack them. The Circ will sort of travel around the air behind the host or whoever you're attacking, and is really good at pressuring them. But here I am using the anvil again. It's just too much fun. There's a hunter here that I see, so I know that it's just me, this orange, and the host and the hunter, who is below me, and I think that he has to go all the way back around the level to come up to where we are. So for now, it's just a 1v2, fortunately. Insane hyper armor there. Once that attack animation is started, almost nothing is going to be able to stop me. So I could just absolutely demolish the orange there. Now it's just me and the host. The blue, who knows where they are. Just me and the host flinging two huge weapons around at each other. Just guys being dudes. You love to see it. This build, when I'm using the hammer in this situation, really becomes about making trades. Again, you see that discus hurl, insane tracking. If I was a meter invader and I wanted to have less fun, I would just sit there and spam it. It uses almost no FP, uses 5 FP, which is bonkers, and does just a ton of damage too. Around 250 to 350 damage, which is more damage than any of the other Smithscript weapons do on their thrown attack. So, hope that gets patched, and either the Smithscript weapons get buffed or the shield gets nerfed. Either way, that's what I'm using for now. The running R2 there, really surprising range on it. And you can usually combo it into the L2 there. Maybe not usually. You can often combo it into the L2 there. Again, this build's about making trades and winning them. Who knows where that hunter was? Never ended up showing up. But yeah, lots of hyper armor on that great hammer. and is really easily able to win trades. We're using the Shard of Alexander here, so we're buffing the L2, the Smithing Art Spears, here against Big Betty. I'm going to be trying out the Smithscript Great Hammer, which does not have near the tracking as the shield does, so you're going to miss with it at close range pretty often. It does hit like 4 times if you do it right, because you sort of do like an Olympic, what do you call it? Like whirl up? That's not what I'm looking for. I'm gonna do it here in a second. It hits the opponent multiple times in a row, and as far as I can tell, in certain situations, it's a true combo, meaning all 4 of those hits are gonna look. There it is. That attack there. Sometimes all 4 of those hits land. Typically, they don't. Again, the tracking is just not very good, and so I switch back to the Anvil here, I believe, in a second. Here up against Big Betty. In tight corners, the shield does not perform as well. I say, hesitating a bit, it's still really, really good. It catches people off guard. It pressures people, so you can throw the shield while it like hovers in the air, you can start running at them, and they're just going to start panicking, and that's sort of when you basically when you win is when they panic. Yeah, I've switched back to the hammer here, and I'm trying to do the thing where I throw the shield. The Big Betty not big enough. Again, that once you're in close corners, the Smithing Art Spears is just going to absolutely demolish them. This person, obviously a little new to the game, wearing the Lionel's armor, which is on all of the like YouTube guides, best armor, OP armor. That if you just Google best armor in Elden Ring, that's going to show up. And I believe you don't get this armor later into the level, meaning that this host has had the armor dropped for them presumably by the co-op person here. Just trying to get away from me. Writing has no idea how to engage with me. Neither does Toji here. I almost got him there. He's fat rolling again, suggesting to me that he doesn't really know what he's doing. The Lion's Claw there, absolutely something that can get in the way of my hyper armor. I was sort of hoping to make some trades up there with them, and here I am trying to time my vertical swing. Kind of miss, but I call it a moral victory. The Landell Knight there, finishing off that invasion. Here I am trying out the Smithscript shield, or spear, and unfortunately it's just not very good. The charged R2 right there is very telegraphed, so it's almost never going to hit. Even the running R2 there, a little less telegraphed, but still not great. And even when it hits, it doesn't do great damage. So, you know, at a certain point, what are we doing here? This dude is just spamming L2. So my plan is to get him so that he's stuck in his animation, and then whack him with the hammer. And it works. Again, once you're in your animation, not much except for like a lion's paw is going to interrupt that animation. Here I am with my trusty cannon. Switching back to the hammer. This is, I think, the first time I've seen this. There's a duelist here, but he's not fighting the host. He's just here to watch, I guess. Which, I mean, I don't know. Good for him, I guess. The host, not the greatest internet connection either, so at this point I'm like relatively worried about my chances here. But they're also fat rolling here, so I don't know. Lots going on. Lots to think about. This build could benefit from the green, or the two-headed green turtle talisman. This weapon eats up a ton of stamina, and it could really use some stamina recovery. Again, no idea what this duelist is doing. The L2 there can hit 3 times on the initial like plunge into the ground. It hits on the when you lift it up from the ground. It hits, and then the spears can hit a 3rd time. In certain situations, I think it's a true combo, or it might just be in like an easy roll catch there. I've pulled it off twice for this host, and so I can only assume that it's not going to work a 3rd time. I'd probably try it just for fun, because it's a cool move, but I don't seriously expect that it's going to work. Yep, this person is just quick stepping around it, I think. Am I going to try a new strategy? Science points to no. I don't recognize the weapons they're using there. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing here. The host isn't doing any damage. He's not really even stunning me. I can just hyper armor through his attacks. He needs to hit me like 15 times. I need to hit him twice, and so again, you can see me. Not the smartest move, just hoping for a cool moment here. Switching over to the. I thought about the axe. The axe, not great. None of the axes in Elden Ring particularly great. That axe is no exception. Of the Smithscript weapons, I think the Great Hammer is my favorite. I have Endure on it at the moment, and I'll probably switch that for something a little bit better. I feel bad about that. I was just ready to end it at that point. Here we are back in Missoula with the running R2 catching this person off guard, and their panic rolling gets them away from my discus curl. Another Eleanor's pull blade. So I'm going to try out the same thing I did with the last host, and I don't think it is as successful as it was last time. I'm going to try and hide here, and it kind of works. I hit the other guy, which is really all that matters. I consider that a victory. I'm going to try and get this host in this elevator with me. As any invader knows, if you can turn a 2v1 into a 1v1, you have a much better chance. And that was a pretty long elevator ride, so I know that I have some time alone with this host here. Their internet connection isn't the greatest, it's also not horrible, so I've just got to time my stuff a little bit differently. I know that I've got those death worm enemies behind me, so I can sort of lure him over there if I need to, because we've been at it for a little bit. And yep, here comes the wizard. So I'm going to lure him over to this death worm enemy, so I can get a chance to heal. Really, it's not so much healing as it is. You can see me again actively choose not to use that not to use the axe. And again, that R2 that thrown weapon hit there, it did like 300 damage, which is just less than the shield. 500 damage there, performing a little bit better. But again, I tried to make a build fully optimized to it. My talismans are the like smithing talisman or whatever that boosts your thrown attacks, and the Alexander shards that my L2, my Ashavor is boosted as well. I think by 15%. And even with that talisman, my thrown weapons just aren't doing great. So, FromSoft, buff it, please. It's a lot of fun when it hits. But I guess all of their thrown weapons, they want balance pretty heavily. So I just bring out the old faithful, my trusty hammer here. And at the time, I remember thinking that was the end of the invasion there. Again, there's that combo. Throw the discus at them, and then hit them with an R1. They'll panic roll out of the disc and then land squarely in your R1. The build itself, you can see here, is all of the different Smithscript weapons. I'm gonna really make an effort at using the Cirque and the spear. I think that if I really try and use them, then they can perform well. Need the Great Jar's Arsenal so that I'm not heavy rolling. But other than that, that's the build. Thanks for watching.